Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Nancy Ann Key. Happy to be here with you in our Overcoming Overgiving for Inspired Women Over 40 Facebook group. And I want to welcome you to our weekly unpacking. So on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Pacific time, I come on to hopefully shed more light and kind of hopefully provide even more access into the theme for the week, so that we can continue to grow together within it. And so that's what we're up to here today. And before I begin that, I wanted to just do a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, let me say I'm so excited that we've had so many new members this week. It's been absolutely fabulous, and I just really feel the energy of the group elevating, and more people are commenting. And, even if you comment pondering or you comment yes or no, it really brings a lot of energy. Hey there, Sheila, nice to see you. It brings so much energy to the group. It doesn't take much to actually really add so much dimension for everyone. So thank you for that. And I wanted to just touch in one more time on the folks who decided to offer their email address in exchange for the gift of the Paradigms for the Path of the Giver, and letting you all know that I have delivered that via Facebook message, and so it may be sitting waiting for you in your message requests. So you might want to check there if you have noticed that you haven't received it yet. Hello, Sheila. Thanks for being here. So happy you're here, and so happy you're in the group, one of our newer members. And let's see if there's anything else I need to cover before that. So I wanted to touch on one thing as well, and I wanted to acknowledge that in our group, you'll likely notice that we touch a lot and expound upon paradigms and belief systems that we can either adopt or not according to whether they resonate with us, and hopefully sort of expand our consciousness as women who want to be of service in the world. But what you notice as well is that I don't offer a lot of the how-to. And I want you to know that I do have a lot to offer in that realm as a transformational life coach for women. That is an area that I specialize in. And I am going to be bringing an offer in 2 weeks, actually, the week of September 14th. We will take a break from our normal weekly unfolding, and I will step in and be sharing about an offering that I have that I am just beyond excited about. And I really just know it's such a win-win for everybody involved. And so I wanted to let you know that I can give you great access to how to actually actualize your desires within your life. And so, because as it turns out, it is when we fully tap into what it is that we desire, that's what actually opens up the most powerful path to service. And, we've often kind of come at it a different way, where we feel that it's about putting other people's needs and desires before our own. So I wanted to share on that. And I believe that's it for the housekeeping. So we can now dive into the unpacking of our theme. Hi, Teresa. Nice to see you. So our theme for the week was Be the Angel You've Been Waiting For. And an interesting dynamic unfolds when we prioritize the needs of our loved ones above our own, in that we tend to give them what it is that we personally would like to receive, in the manner in which we would like to receive it. So, and that's just a natural response, right? We are our own frame of reference. And that's going to be our natural inclination to give what we would like to receive. And I'm actually here to say that I think that's actually a really good idea, because in any relationship, we want to feel free to show up as who we actually are. But we want to know that that it can be well received. And I think what we need to do is make sure that we can relieve the pressure on the situation of having, our perhaps loved one receive it in a particular way. And so I'll continue on. As a result, if or when they do not give back to us in a similar way, we can feel especially disappointed, because we've witnessed ourselves providing the very things that we are personally longing for. We are longing to receive these things. And when we find that someone else doesn't either want to receive it or doesn't know how to receive and give back to us in kind, it can feel really devastating, right? Because in a way, we've put our hearts right out on the line for everybody to see. Right? This is who I am. This is how I like to give. And if it's not well received, it can feel quite crushing. We can experience sadness or anger, resentment, disillusionment for sure, frustration, and this leads to tension and friction in our relationships. So for these very reasons, it's imperative that we provide this very love and care to ourselves first, in precisely the way that we would like to receive it, and that we commit to doing so as top priority in our lives. This enables us to enter any encounter within our relationships having had our own needs already met. Hi, Denise. So glad you're here. We're just doing our unpacking. And so, this has brought up a theme in the comments of love languages. And many of us have maybe heard of a very famous book, I believe it's called The 5 Love Languages, where it can be really helpful to know what the ways that we like to express love. And it can be helpful to notice and take note of the ways that our loved ones like to express love for us, so that we can be aware when we're receiving love from them. And it was in my awareness when I wrote this, and at the same time, as I already mentioned, I personally feel that it's really important that we be able to bring love into our relationships in the way that is natural to us, okay? So there's room for all of it. And furthermore, there's another step, and I realized as I was pointing this out in my own comments back to women, that I kind of left out a piece that I wish that I had added in here. And so when we talk about expressing love, especially as women, a lot of times we're talking about something verbal. And what I wish that I had included in here is that we learn to interact verbally with ourselves in a loving way. So absolutely provide ourselves the experiences that we want to have in our lives, meaning care for ourselves by whatever it might be, doing the things that help us to feel wonderful, taking time out, resting, all of the things that help to, the things that we often refer to as self-care. And I don't mean to disparage that term. It's just that I'm someone that feels that self-care is not something that we add in. It's actually the foundation of our lives. So I also just want to put this idea out there of interacting with ourselves verbally. Now, you don't have to say things out loud, but something that's been helpful to me is to imagine my younger self sitting next to me. And I could even imagine me having my arm around her and speaking to her lovingly. If we can learn to speak to ourselves lovingly, it's really amazing how much more satisfied we can feel in our lives, and how we can let the other people in our lives off the hook so that they don't feel like they have to try to figure out how to help us to feel satisfied and nourished in our lives. So, in other words, we show up satisfied, which leads to more easeful and joyful interactions. And very importantly, this frees the people in our lives from having to carry the burden of our longings, because it's not their job. Just like it's not our job to carry theirs. We are here to heal ourselves, and others are here to heal themselves. And we are humans, so we are meant to be in relationship. And the more we can hone what healthy relationship looks like, the more we actually can be of service to each other. So when we take full responsibility for our own happiness, there's a magic that can and usually does unfold as we notice that our loved ones show us more appreciation and generosity, because the pressure is now off and they can easily access their natural love for us, because they do love us. They want to love us. But when we show up with expectation, man, nothing cuts off that expression of love quicker, than showing up with expectation. And so, and then I went on to the question, can you think of ways that you could provide for your own needs and desires within your close relationships? And can you imagine how this might bring a new lightness to your interactions with your loved ones? And I would say, if you're open to trying this, be open to being surprised by how it plays out. In other words, again, if we feel like we're doing an experiment, we're going to think that they're going to show up all of a sudden in a specific way. We're kind of doing the same thing all over again, right? So we open up and we allow something new to come in. And I do believe you'll find that there's some magic there that happens. So that's it. I hope that you have received some value within this. It was really nice to have Teresa, Denise, and Sheila along for the live ride here. I would ask, do any of you have questions that you would like to ask me? I'll give you a moment to ponder that. It's okay if you don't. But I always like to invite the interaction if it's there. And so it looks like perhaps just being here with me was enough. And I've so enjoyed it. I am so honored to be your guide here in this group. Thank you for being with me, and I will see you next week.